Hi everyone, I'm Joe Baker. I farm here at Windshiel Farm in partnership with Mum and Dad. I'm a Faz vlog farmer, and today we're going to look at how we are preparing for hotter summers going forward and becoming more resilient to the weather. So here we are stood in a field of arable silage undersown with grass, and we're using the oats, barley, peas and vetch that are in the arable silage as a nurse crop to grow the reseed, the grass seed underneath it. So it works really well. We get a silage crop for our ewes pre-lambing, and it's a good way to establish the grass growing forward. And then this field will then be grass for 5 to 6 years. So this crop was sown on about the 25th of April, something like that. It went in good conditions. We had a little bit of moisture. Since it's been very dry, and the past couple of weeks very hot. So unfortunately I'm a bit disappointed with the yield at the moment. Would have expected it to be a bit bulkier at the moment, but hopefully with a bit more rain the grass in the bottom will bulk out and we will have a reasonable crop of silage. But the fundamentals is it's still the barley and the oats are still adding as a good nurse crop to the grass seed. So if it had just been grass seed in here, I think the weeds would have overtaken and possibly shadowed out the grass a bit. So by having the barley and the oats, it's helped the grass seed establish. A plan B for here, if the yield is quite low, which it's looking like, we've got a plan B of 50 acres of red clover grass, which we could also bale for silage to give us some higher protein. We also are trialling this year, we've got 10 acres of lucerne, which we planted at around the same time, 20th of April, and we are hoping to cut it for silage in August and make some higher protein silage to help supplement ewes pre-lambing. So in here is an organic long lay. It's made up of some rye grasses, also Timothy cocksfoot. We've also added herbs to the mix, yarrow, bird's foot, trefoil, plantain, and it's also got, so this has got white clover predominantly, but a little bit of red clover in there as well. And we just find that, the herbs, some of the plantain and things are good natural warmers for the lambs, but also having a diverse grass mix allows for a better sward, especially with the dry weather. Some of the herbs will perform better in dry conditions. Here at Windshiel, we've been rotationally grazing for the past 4 to 5 years with the stock, and we find it helps us grow 20% more grass through the growing season. This year, due to the really dry weather, at the moment we've extended the rotation on both the sheep and the cattle. The sheep we're leaving a rest period of 25 plus days to 30 days, and the same with the cows, just to give the grass as long as possible to recover. The cattle at the moment are in some bigger covers, and that's holding them for a week in each paddock. The paddocks are broken down into about 9-acre blocks, and the sheep are rotated in 3 groups of 300, and the cows are in 2 groups of 35. Last year we trialled some pasture cropping as deferred grazing for the winter for the cattle instead of going onto the forage crops. So we had 2 fields of forage crops, 1 field of deferred grazing, which we direct drilled oats into in March, and then grazed it for 2 months before shutting it up in July and leaving it for the winter. Now by doing this it reduced ground disturbance and release of carbon, also the release of moisture, and was a safer bet to the forage crop. It worked quite well, and this year we are continuing on the same trend. So we have 40 acres of forage crops going in and 20 acres left as deferred grazing. This 20 acres we have direct drilled with forage rye in March when the sheep came off it, and as a trial to help bulk the deferred grazing in the winter time. By direct drilling the forage rye, it has meant we've retained moisture and also reduced our carbon release, and we haven't turned the soil over twice in 2 years. That's the plan, but wait to see how we get on in future vlogs.